Alright chat, so get this. Our MC starts out as the most basic default skin NPC you've ever seen. Bro is getting absolutely farmed. He's literally a walking ATM for these low-level mobs. Just pathetic, right? And the world is full of these entitled, trust fund babies who think they own the whole server. They all look at him and see a total beta. Big mistake, because plot twist, this dude ain't a noob. He's playing on a Smurf account, and he's about to remind these clowns what a max-level Giga Chad looks like. Homeboy went from yes sir to your daughter calls me daddy too. The glow-up is insane. And peep this, the same chick who wouldn't give him the time of day is now absolutely starstruck. That's that legendary unspoken Riz. My man's aura is just on a different level. Of course, every pretty boy villain with a punchable face wants to test him. They pull up with guns, he pulls up with hands that are basically registered as WMDs. All these dudes thought they were the main character. Nah, you're just the next victim for his highlight reel. It gets so crazy that the old heads, the corporate overlords, the final bosses of the city start getting pressed. They send their strongest fighters, and my guy just casually sends them to the afterlife. It's not even a challenge. This absolute Sigma completely mogged the entire food chain and is just chillin'. If you want to see an NPC become the final boss of the entire universe, you cannot sleep on this series. It's peak. He feels the power returning, his body getting a much-needed buff. A grim determination settles on his face. He exhales, calming his mind. I'll have to take it one step at a time, he thinks. First, I'll use this test to gauge my awakened body and assess my potential. He walks toward the officials on the field. One of them asks, "Are you sure you're okay to run?" He answers confidently, "Today's test is the 100-meter dash, right? I'm in." The peanut gallery of bullies is back. "Yo, isn't that the guy Hokuba is up against?" Another one sneers, "Are you seriously gonna try and run away your shame along with your pride?" They all burst into laughter. But our MC is unfazed. I am merely at the first stage of body refinement, he thinks to himself, but a cultivator's body possesses potential far beyond the realm of ordinary humans. One of the lackeys mocks him again. "You're the only one racing Hokuba. Everyone else bailed because they were too scared." At the starting line, the official raises the starter pistol. "On your marks, get set." The jock, Hokuba, gives our MC a predatory glare, ready to humiliate him. Bang! The gun fires. Hokuba explodes off the line, a smirk on his face. But our hero remains completely still. From the sidelines, the bullies erupt. He froze up. He's not even moving. Just as I thought, total trash. But our protagonist's eyes are glowing. A silent countdown runs in his mind. 3, 2, 1. And in an instant, he vanishes from the starting block, leaving a gust of wind in his wake. The bullies' jaws drop in unison. They can't believe what they're seeing. The teacher is stunned, her mind struggling to process the scene. A physique and speed that completely shattered common sense, transcending all known human limits. He crosses the finish line in a blur, effortlessly grabbing the tape. In short, the gap between a cultivator and a mortal is like the evolutionary gap between modern man and a primitive savage. The entire field is in shock as Hokuba is still struggling to even catch up. He looks on in disbelief as our hero casually waves, having already finished the race. The teacher stares at her stopwatch, completely dumbfounded. 3.08 seconds! It's a new record! Hokuba collapses to his knees, utterly defeated. No way! That's impossible! Our protagonist stands there, a smug look on his face. He knows he's nowhere near his former strength, but for these mortals, this was more than enough to put them in their place.
In a world of fire and chaos, our hero cuts a path through a horde of demonic beasts, dual-wielding blades against impossible odds. He stands alone, the last man standing on a battlefield of corpses, his aura blazing as he stares down the final boss. But even for him, the fight was too much. His eyes, burning with red energy, carry the weight of a long and brutal war. From the shadows, a mysterious figure signals for silence, watching the unfolding tragedy. A memory flashes, a moment of weakness, a fatal blow. He's impaled, blood splattering as his vision blurs. Surrounded by his enemies, cornered and broken, his face contorts with rage and betrayal. He looks up, reaching for something, or someone, screaming their name. You betrayed me! With one final, agonizing roar that tears through the fabric of reality, his world goes dark. He jolts awake with a gasp. A voice calls his name. Yayamori, wake up! Another student tells the teacher he's awake. The woman leans in, asking, Yayamori, are you okay? He's completely disoriented, looking at the crowd of unfamiliar faces surrounding him. He thinks to himself, who are they? Suddenly, a smug-looking guy steps forward. Yayamori, what's with that dumb look on your face? Another one, a big jock type, chimes in with a condescending smirk. You gonna set another record today? The woman claps her hands, trying to get things back on track. All right, everyone, let's resume the fitness assessment. Our protagonist tries to make sense of his surroundings. This isn't the Ruye continent. It seems I have been reborn, he realizes. And he can feel it. The very air is different. He scans the crowd of students, these smirking bullies, and senses their weakness. They're just regular NPCs. There's a unique energy here, but it's faint, something they call spirit chi. Back on the Ruye continent, they could absorb this spirit chi directly from the air to cultivate their power. But here, the density of spirit chi here is extremely low. Still, even this nerfed environment is enough for him. He gathers the faint wisps of energy, pulling them into his body. It's a start. His eyes flash red as he focuses his will, a familiar power flowing through him once more. A faint blue aura begins to wrap around his body. He takes a solid stance, clenching his fist.
He was once known as Yaemori Hiroto, the strongest cultivator on the entire Ruye continent, a man whose power was absolute, a true raid boss. But even the strongest can fall, betrayed by the very comrades he trusted, the ones who stood by his side. He stood alone on a battlefield of his own making, a world he had saved, only to be cast aside. His power was so great it tore the world asunder, but it all came to an end. Betrayal by his own comrades, and a final, pathetic death, hunted by a pack of demonic wolves. But his story didn't end there. He's been reincarnated into a modern world, inside a high school bathroom of all places. Staring at his reflection, he assesses the situation. To reclaim the 11th stage quickly, I must rely on spirit elixirs. He checks his phone, his face falling. But the cost is exorbitant, and this body's savings are pitifully low. A plan starts to form. I could craft and sell some talismans, but with this, I can't even afford the low-grade materials. Just as he's pondering his financial woes, he hears footsteps. It seems some random encounter has just been triggered. A group of delinquents blocks his path, led by the smirking boxing club captain, Osaki Haru, and the track and field captain, Hokuba. Our protagonist's eyes narrow. He knows these NPCs. They're the ones who've been extorting money from this body under the guise of protection. They even fleeced him just last week. They surround him, looking down like he's just another mob to grind for loot. Hokuba, the track captain, seems a little wary though. Haru, he's all yours. Something feels off about him today. But Haru just scoffs, cracking his knuckles. He winds up throwing a punch that he thinks is a one-hit KO. But for a supreme cultivator, this is practically slow motion. Our protagonist simply thinks, too slow. Before the punch can even connect, he counters with a right hook of his own. It's a clean, devastating stat check. Haru is sent flying, completely knocked out cold. It's a one-shot. His goons can't even process what just happened. The MC doesn't waste a second, immediately turning his attention to the next target. A lightning-fast spin kick connects squarely with the second goon's head. The remaining two are frozen in shock, their brains short-circuiting at the sight of their leaders getting absolutely nerfed. Our protagonist stands over his fallen opponent, an aura of pure intimidation leaking out. Finally snapping out of it, the last two goons shout, "Get him!" and rush forward. But their slocky charge is a critical mistake. He effortlessly catches both of their incoming fists. With a casual grip, he stops their momentum completely. The two thugs are helpless, their arms caught in a vice. Gah, my arm! Damn it, let go of me! A wicked smile creeps across his face. This is the part he enjoys. Realization dawns on them. This isn't their usual punching bag. They start begging, "We messed up, please stop." But he's not done yet. He effortlessly tosses them aside like trash. Meanwhile, Hokuba, the track captain, struggles back to his feet, absolutely terrified. He grits his teeth, his pride wounded. Damn it! He musters his courage for one last desperate attack. He lunges forward, putting everything into one last punch. But our MC is on a whole different level. He meets the punch with a brutal uppercut. The impact sends Hokuba flying backwards, smashing through the bathroom stall door. He slumps down, completely out of commission. A total party wipe. The last remaining goon is speechless, eyes wide with terror. They're all on the ground, whimpering. "We're sorry. Stay back. Get away from me." Our protagonist slowly approaches, his gaze cold and piercing. "Hand them over." They're confused. "What are you talking about?" His eyes begin to glow with a menacing red light. "You stole from me, didn't you?" The pressure is immense. The goon breaks down instantly, screaming, "Eek! We'll give it back!" Hokuba scrambles to hand over all the cash they took. "Take it, that's everything." As other students rush to help the demolished bullies, our protagonist calmly walks away. "School is too crowded and restrictive. I need to leave soon." He looks at the cash in his hand. "At least I secured some funds." A confident smirk appears on his face, golden talismans materializing around him. The first step to reclaiming his power has been taken.
In the world of cultivation, paper tags infused with spirit chi are the standard starter pack. Fire, lightning, ice, basic elemental tools for any low-level practitioner. By channeling one's energy into various materials, these simple paper tags can create mystical, powerful effects. And our protagonist has just finished a massive crafting session. With his inventory full, he sets out with a simple goal in mind. After meticulously creating stacks of elemental talismans, he picks them up with a confident smirk. Selling these should bring in a decent chunk of change. Time to see if the market is buying what he's selling. But 3 weeks have passed, and as a newly minted Stage 1 cultivator named Yayamori Hiroto, he's hit a wall. Not a single sale. He's set up a stall on the street, but everyone just eyes his talismans with suspicion. To these NPCs, he just looks like some weirdo. The grind is getting frustrating. All this effort and no one's even willing to try his wares. Just as he's about to pack it in, he hears a faint whimper. A small, fluffy dog comes stumbling towards him, looking happy to see a friendly face. But a moment later, the poor thing collapses. It's covered in nasty wounds, looking like it got hit by a car. Its HP is dropping fast. Yayamori crouches down, a thoughtful expression on his face. He pulls out one of his own creations, a healing talisman. Time for a little product demonstration. A warm green light envelops the puppy as the talisman's magic activates. In an instant, the wounds vanish. The dog's eyes pop open, completely revitalized. It happily barks, back to full health and ready to go. Yayamori gives the happy pup a reassuring pat. The little guy immediately starts wagging its tail, clearly having imprinted on its savior. But just then, another voice cuts in. Who cares if it dies? A well-dressed couple appears. The man, Wada Sho, is completely dismissive, but the woman, Suga Shizuru, is horrified. "How can you say that? You're the one who hit it. We need to get him to a vet." As she rushes forward, she stops dead in her tracks. She sees Yayamori holding the perfectly healthy and happy dog. She's stunned. Huh? Wasn't it just roadkill a second ago? Wada gets aggressive. "Hey, you, where the hell did you come from?" While Shizuru approaches Yayamori, asking, "How is it completely healed? You did something, didn't you?" She looks closer, her expression a mix of confusion and awe. She spots a paper in his hand from the Nekai Hospital. But that's not what healed the dog. Yayamori gives a slight, knowing smile. "I just used this," he says, opening his jacket slightly. He reveals a simple blue talisman. Shizuru looks at it, recognizing the design. "Is that a charm?" Wada immediately scoffs. "Fraud. Don't think you can fool me." He points an accusing finger. "How dare you use a dying animal to run a scam? Do you test your fake charms on animals before trying them on humans?" But his words trigger something in Shizuru.
"My grandmother is in a vegetative state," she exclaims, a desperate hope in her eyes. Yaemori's expression shifts. He sees an opening. He holds up a different set of talismans. This is a spirit purification talisman. It's potent enough to wake the vegetative. Wada is furious. "Shizuru, don't touch that. It's obviously a scam." Yaemori ignores him, handing the talismans directly to Shizuru. Usage is simple. Just hold it over the patient. Shizuru takes the talisman, a glimmer of hope overriding her skepticism. "If what you say is true, and these things are real, then I'll pay 1 million yen. Wasting no time, she pulls out a notepad. "Give me everything you've got." Wada can't believe it. "Shizuru, are you crazy?" Losing his patience, Wada lunges at Yaemori. "Hey, I said beat it." But his hand is caught midair. In absolute stat check, Wada is completely frozen, a surge of raw power emanating from our protagonist. My arm, I can't move it. Yaimori's eyes glow with a menacing red light. This guy clearly picked the wrong fight. With a flick of his wrist, he sends Wada tumbling to the ground. Deal, he says, smoothly, handing over the rest of the talismans. Take these as a bonus. Yellow is for protection, red is a fireball talisman. He gives her a sly grin. Hopefully, you'll never need to use them. Shizuru stares, completely captivated for a moment. She's left speechless as Wada picks himself up, nursing his wrist. Yaimori gives a casual wave, walking off with his new furry sidekick. Wada can only scream after them, "Scammer!" But the deal is done. Shizuru looks down at the talismans, her future and her grandmother's, now resting on these mysterious charms. The little dog happily trots alongside his new master. Finally got the funds, Yaimori thinks to himself. Now I can hunt for a place to live. As they walk, he suddenly stops, sensing something in the air. The dog seems to have led him somewhere interesting. He looks up at a nearby house, which is practically overflowing with a faint blue aura. Is that spirit chi? His cultivator senses are going wild. There's something powerful here. And deep within the property, a rare glowing spirit herb pulses with energy. He's just stumbled upon a massive treasure. In a hospital corridor, a nurse carefully tends to a nasty scratch on a man's hand. He's seething, his face twisted in anger. That guy, he's bad news, he snarls, completely ignoring the nurse's work. Just wait till I see him again. Suddenly, a stern voice cuts through the air. An older gentleman in a sharp suit, identified as Suga Kenji, a city councilor, approaches with a thunderous expression. He's not looking at the injured man, but at a young woman standing nearby. Falling for a con artist's sweet talk? Do you want to become a laughingstock? He reprimands her, his voice dripping with disappointment. Nearby nurses start to whisper amongst themselves, enjoying the drama. Rich folks are such easy marks, aren't they? The woman, Shizuru, looks down, her expression a mix of defiance and sorrow. She clutches a small blue talisman in her gloved hands, as if it's her last hope. Her father, the counselor, completely loses it. "That's enough!" he roars. "All this time you've spent on such shady nonsense. What's next? Praying to spirits?" Stung by his words, Shizuru's head snaps up. She gestures towards a hospital room behind them where a woman lies motionless, hooked up to a ventilator. "How many times did you even visit Mom while she was under?" she shoots back. The question hits him like a physical blow, and the counselor freezes, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. His shame quickly turns back to rage. "What do you know?" he snarls, raising his hand as if to strike her. But he stops, his hand hovering in the air, trembling. Letting out a heavy sigh, he lowers his arm. "Seriously, getting all cocky," he mutters, turning his back on her. Then he delivers the final cruel blow. "I'm having them pull the tubes." Panic floods Shizuru's face. "Don't, father, don't do this," she cries, her voice breaking. "Don't give up on her." In her desperation, she presses the talisman against her chest, and it suddenly erupts in a blinding cyan light. A faint whisper echoes, seemingly from the bedridden woman's mind. Shizuru. As the light fades, Shizuru looks up, shocked. Her father whips around, equally stunned. What happened? They look into the room, and their eyes go wide. The woman on the bed, Suga Yoko, is awake. Her eyes are open. Shizuru can only stammer. Her face looks skinnier? The counselor snaps out of his shock and dashes down the hall, beaming with a joy he hasn't shown in years. "I'll call the doctor," he yells. Shizuru simply whispers, "Mom." A doctor and a nurse come sprinting into the room, their faces etched with confusion and panic. What's going on in the exam room? After a quick checkup, the doctor stares at his clipboard in utter disbelief. "This is a miracle," he declares, looking at the now conscious patient. "She should be able to resume a normal life." Shizuru stares at the talisman, its glow now gone. It feels like she just witnessed a reality-breaking glitch. The entire room is stunned silent. The doctor can't believe his own diagnosis. The counselor looks like he won the lottery. And the guy who got scratched earlier looks like his entire worldview has just been deleted. He just tried to stat check a literal miracle worker. Later, mother and daughter share a tearful embrace. "Shizuru,
I put you through so much, didn't I? Mom, I'm just glad you're back. With the job done and her family restored, Shizuru holds a small, elegantly wrapped box, likely the MC's payment, and gives a knowing wink. Meanwhile, in a cozy new house, our protagonist stretches. Finally done moving, he says, a small corgi rolling playfully at his feet. Step 1 is complete, he thinks to himself. But his expression shifts. The easygoing demeanor vanishes, replaced by a cold, calculating look as dark, shadowy figures manifest behind him. His eyes glow with an ominous power. To do that, I need spirit springs and spiritual veins. It's clear this was never about a simple healing job. He's on a whole different questline.
Waking up, the MC stares at the ceiling, a familiar sense of unease settling in. His crimson eyes reflect a past that's anything but ordinary. His mind drifts to a place of pure spiritual energy, a place he must reach again. On his desk, a small plant, the aqua spirit grass, pulses with a faint light. This isn't just decoration, it's a critical item for his progression. Unlike common herbs, these spirit materials are the key ingredients for crafting pills that can literally level up a cultivator's entire existence. He gets out of bed and picks up the pot. Even his dog seems to sense the otherworldly energy radiating from it, barking in a mix of confusion and excitement. But there's no time to waste. He knows that in this new life, disaster can strike at any moment. The grind has to start now. He heads out into the city, making his way to a back alley market where cultivators and those in the know trade their wares. The problem is, the materials for the foundation pill are absurdly expensive. He's doing the math, and even selling everything he owns wouldn't be enough for the starting bid. He needs a different approach, a faster way to get the capital he needs. Just then, he senses a hostile gaze. A group of low-level thugs are eyeing him, probably thinking he's an easy mark. He doesn't even bother to give them a full look. These guys are just NPCs in his way. Suddenly, a girl bumps right into him. She's flustered, apologizing profusely. It turns out she's his new next-door neighbor, trying to return some mail that was sent to the wrong address. She nervously tries to invite him for a meal but chickens out at the last second, mumbling maybe later before scurrying off. Our protagonist barely registers the interaction. His mind is already back on the mission, acquiring cultivation resources. He turns and heads down a dark alleyway, sensing it's the perfect place for the trouble that's been following him to finally make its move. But it looks like he wasn't the only one with problems. Up ahead, the girl from before is running for her life, cornered by another group of thugs. She finds herself trapped in a dead end, completely surrounded. Our hero just watches, his expression unreadable. He's not one to jump into every random side quest. And that's when the two groups of thugs converge. The leader of the first group steps up, and it's clear he and our protagonist have some history. "Who's pulling the strings this time?" the MC asks coolly. The thug just smirks, telling him to pray for better luck. But our MC isn't relying on luck. His patience is wearing thin. And just as things are about to kick off, a third party arrives. A fancy car pulls up, and a woman who screams main villain steps out with her bodyguards, blocking the only exit. The neighbor girl is completely terrified, realizing she's stumbled into something way over her head. Seeing no other option, she tries to sneakily call the police, but one of the thugs spots her immediately. He snatches her phone, grabbing her by the wrist. "Who you calling, huh?" he growls. Meanwhile, the main thug leader confronts our protagonist. "I've been looking for you," he says. "You've been quite a pain." Another goon grabs the terrified girl by her hair, and the MC's gaze hardens. He's wondering why she had to get involved in his mess. The thug mocks him. "You're a real ladies' man. First Miss Setsu, and now you're seducing this girl too?" He's trying to get a rise out of him, using the innocent girl as a pawn. And then, things escalate. The second thug pulls a knife, pressing it against her. The leader gives the signal. The goon shoves the girl aside and lunges at our hero with the knife, aiming for a finishing blow. But this is a massive stat check, and the thug is about to fail. The MC catches the blade between his fingers like it's nothing. He sighs, "I really wanted to keep a low profile." With a flick of his wrist, the knife shatters. But playing the victim isn't my style. He grabs the thug by the face, moving like he's lagging the server, and slams him into the wall with enough force to crack the concrete. The girl can only stare in absolute shock. The guy she thought was just her quiet neighbor just performed a one-shot deletion on an armed thug. He lets the unconscious body drop, cracking his knuckles. He turns to the rest of the stunned gangsters, his eyes glowing with power. Who's next?
The alert comes crackling over the radio. Inspector Kaya, the scars are on the move. Driving through the city streets, the young officer responds, a sense of urgency in his voice. The situation is escalating fast. Their last confirmed location was the East Street alleys, and it's a hostage situation. A civilian kid and a woman are involved. Hearing this, Kaya slams on the gas. This just went from a simple gang bust to a high-priority rescue mission. He radios back, his voice strained. "This is Kaya. I'm on my way. Keep them talking." His partner on the other end sounds panicked. The connection is shaky. He's reporting from the scene, his voice trembling as he looks upon the aftermath. Bodies are strewn across the alleyway, an entire squad of thugs taken down. He wiped them all out. And there, standing amidst the carnage, is our protagonist. He's holding the gang's leader by the scruff of his neck, completely unfazed. The thug's face is a mess of bruises and blood, his eyes rolling back into his head as our hero lifts him effortlessly. With eyes glowing a dangerous crimson, the MC interrogates him, his voice cold as ice. "Who sent you? The Amatani or the Yayamori? You have 3 seconds." The pressure intensifies. This isn't a request, it's a countdown to oblivion. The thug is terrified, stammering out a name. "Yayamori! The Yayamori group hired us!" Just then, the sirens wail as the police finally arrive on the scene, guns drawn. But the tension has already vanished. The MC lets go, dropping the goon like a sack of potatoes. The thug groans on the ground, defeated. I'm okay," he mutters, though he clearly isn't. Officer Kaya arrives, breathing a sigh of relief. "Whew, we're here." He sees the scene and is utterly baffled. Our protagonist stands there, calm and collected, the rescued woman right behind him. The rest of the gang is out cold. Looks like he soloed the entire dungeon before the party even arrived. Kaya approaches, putting a hand on his chest in relief. "Thank you so much. My name is..." The rescued girl cuts him off with a cheerful wave. "Saren did everything," she says with a bright smile. Kaya introduces himself and his partner. "My apologies, I'm Police Sergeant Kaya Haruki, and this is Police Officer Rokohara Fumiya." But as they're talking, Saren's eyes narrow. He senses a new presence approaching. The 2 officers are confused by his sudden change in demeanor. And then, he appears. A man with a chilling smile and an overwhelming aura walks into the alley. It's Senior Superintendent Onaga Raizo. This guy's giving off serious final boss vibes. He gets right in Saren's face, his presence like a tangible force. "Long time no see, Saren-kun." The girl immediately steps in front of Saren, protective. "Stay away from him." Onaga's eyes flash with a strange blue light. An oppressive energy washes over the area, a passive debuff affecting everyone. He dismisses the girl's warning with a smirk. A civilian trying to play hero. Suddenly, he grabs Officer Kaya by the collar, his grip like iron. You're an eyesore. Get lost." His eyes glow with an unnerving purple light, a clear display of power that paralyzes the young officer with fear. He tightens his grip, asserting his dominance. "I can strip you of your rank with a single word." Kaya can't even speak, the pressure is too immense. His partner can only watch in horror, unable to move. But Saren remains completely unaffected, his expression unchanged. Looks like his mental resistance stats are maxed out. The superintendent turns his attention back to Saren, clearly amused. "You're awfully cooperative for a criminal." Saren thinks to himself, this won't be the last time, might as well gather some intel. If I don't settle this, my cultivation will stall and I'll never ascend. Onaga leans in, whispering, "Just tell me where that man is." "Or what? You're probably just that guy's dog anyway." Saren just smirks, his eyes glowing. "Want me to handle him for you?" Before Onaga can react, Saren casually turns himself in, offering his hands to be cuffed. As the cuffs click shut, Onaga smirks and turns away. But Saren has one last move. He holds up a small dark object between his fingers. It's a button. Onaga instinctively checks his uniform, his eyes widening in shock. It's missing. When did he take my button? This guy's sleight of hand is on another level, like he's using a lag switch. Saren simply lets the officer lead him away, the cuffs not even a minor inconvenience. A calculated move in a much larger game. Onaga clenches his fist, a flicker of red in his eyes. He's been completely outplayed, and he knows it. Later, in the sterile hallway of a detention center, Saren sits meditating peacefully in his cell, conserving his energy. A guard outside taps a baton against the bars, getting the attention of another inmate. He'll be here soon. The mission is, the guard gives his instructions in the shadows. The inmate, a mountain of a man with taped-up fists, cracks his knuckles. A dangerous red glint in his eyes, he responds with a single word: understood.
Our protagonist is escorted into what looks like a private room. The guards who led him here seem more like wardens. The door clacks shut behind him, and he's left alone in the dimly lit chamber. He strides forward with an unshakable confidence, a faint purple aura hinting at the power simmering just beneath the surface. As he takes in the barred windows, he scoffs. Trying to jump me? His eyes, glowing a faint crimson, scan the room. He's not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with him. From the shadows, a massive figure emerges, sitting in silent meditation. His hands are wrapped like a street fighter's, yet he clutches a book, a silver cross hanging from his neck. A strange combination. The man slowly rises to his feet, a twisted grin spreading across his face. Because from where I stand, mortals like you are just too fragile. He cracks his knuckles, his own menacing aura flaring to life. Do yourself a favor, don't bother resisting. But the MC just stares back, his expression completely flat. This guy's monologue is falling on deaf ears. The two face off, the sheer difference in size making it look like a boss fight against a tank. The big guy buffs up, a violent pink energy erupting around him as he prepares to strike. Our hero, however, remains perfectly calm. Now then, his opponent roars, lunging forward. You'll be begging for the sweet release of the afterlife in a heartbeat. He throws a haymaker that looks like it could shatter concrete, aiming to one-shot our MC. But the punch never lands. In a shocking display, the MC catches the massive fist with one hand, stopping it dead in its tracks. You've got it backwards. The boss just failed the stat check, hard. With a vice-like grip, our hero seizes the man's head and slams him into the ground. The big guy tries to counter, to break the grip, but it's like trying to bend steel. He's completely overpowered. He swings his other arm wildly, a desperate counterattack, but the protagonist dodges it like he's moving with a speed hack. The blow sails harmlessly overhead as the MC ducks under with ease.
The first time, a look of genuine shock appears on the brute's face. Seems I underestimated you. But it's too late for regrets. The MC stands over him, his own power beginning to leak out. In a blur of motion, he unleashes a flurry of attacks. He lands a devastating punch that sends his opponent staggering back, breaking through his guard like it's paper. The blows rain down, a relentless combo that gives the big guy no room to breathe. Blood erupts from his mouth. The fight has turned into a one-sided beatdown. He crumbles to the ground, battered and broken. "Damn it," he screams, trying to muster the strength to block the incoming onslaught. The MC effortlessly sidesteps another punch, the force of the blow cracking the wall behind him. The brute is barely standing, spitting out a curse. Shit. Fueled by rage and humiliation, he roars, "Don't get cocky!" and throws one last desperate punch. Our protagonist simply watches it approach, completely unimpressed. He ducks inside the punch and delivers a thunderous uppercut that connects clean with the man's jaw. The impact is brutal. The man's eyes roll back into his head as he's lifted off his feet. He's sent flying across the room, crashing into the concrete floor. On his knees, he can only whisper in disbelief, "How?" But the MC isn't finished. His aura flares, a burning red that signals the end. He winds up, channeling power into his fist. Another devastating blow sends the defeated man tumbling across the floor, his will completely shattered. The protagonist grabs him by the head, and a single tear of despair rolls down the brute's face. He's been utterly broken. Lifting him by his hair, the MC's eyes begin to glow with an intense, otherworldly light. His purple aura swirls around him, the air crackling with power as he prepares to pass judgment.
On the other end of the line, a man in a sharp uniform can't believe what he's hearing. What in the hell is he? The report coming in sounds less like a man and more like a monster. He scoffs. You call that a reject? But then his tone shifts, becoming cold and pragmatic. Well, as long as he is disposed of, it doesn't matter. The voice on the other end is confident. Rest assured, I've unleashed a savage fresh out of Ruja. His eyes flare with a dangerous red glint. Hashimoto, you'd better not forget those words. Clearly, there's no love lost between these two. Meanwhile, the savage from Ruja is currently embedded in a concrete wall, looking like he just failed a major stat check. Still won't talk? Tough bastard, he grunts, clearly having underestimated his opponent. Even with his face a bloody mess, the determination in his eyes hasn't faded one bit. But our MC just stares back, his crimson eyes holding a chilling calmness. He's heard it all before. Finally breaking his silence, the big guy decides it's story time. Years ago, I met an old monk in Ruja. He recalls a flashback of this monk demonstrating an insane amount of power. He channeled chi into his hand and split a massive tree down the middle like it was a twig. A classic one-shot move. The sight left him completely stunned, witnessing a power that defied all logic. That monk gave me a vial of divine water, he continues. For years, I drank that water diluted, just as he instructed. And the results were significant. And slowly, my body transformed into something beyond human. The dude basically got a permanent power-up buff. Listening to the story, the MC's mind clicks. This divine water, it has to be spirit liquid. He knows exactly what that means. Spirit springs, the source of this liquid, only form in places with ridiculously high concentrations of spirit chi. It's a rare, high-tier item. So this guy got his hands on a legendary potion. But his reason for seeking this power wasn't for fame or glory. He had a son, gravely ill in a hospital bed. The divine water didn't work on him, he says, his voice filled with anguish. All I've been able to do is barely keep him alive. That's why I need more money to find a cure before it's too late. And then our MC drops a bombshell, his voice even and confident. ALS? I can cure that. He says it so casually, as if it's no big deal. The hired muscle is stunned into disbelief. What? The protagonist explains the mechanics of the game world.
Diluted spirit chi is harmless enough, but at high concentrations, it's poison to ordinary people. He was accidentally nerfing his son with a high-grade potion meant for cultivators. He then pulls out a talisman, a simple piece of paper covered in intricate script. The big guy is confused. Spirit chi? Is that a talisman? What good is a scrap of paper? But this is no ordinary scrap of paper. With a flick of his wrist, it erupts in a brilliant aura of spiritual energy. The energy flows through him, a cleansing wave that makes him feel lighter, better. Just like that, the lingering negative effects of the spirit liquid are purged from his system. He looks down at the man, his gaze piercing. The message is clear. I'm on a different level. A small, knowing smirk forms on the big guy's face. Huh, you really are no ordinary man. He gets it now. This isn't some lucky rookie. This is a top-tier player smurfing in the lobby zones. And so he spills the beans. The man who hired me is Hashimoto Kosei. And speaking of Hashimoto, we cut to the man himself, lounging in a lavish room and enjoying a fine meal. Now then, shall we continue our session? He asks with a slimy smile. This guy just oozes scumbag final boss energy. And the session he's referring to is absolutely horrifying. A woman, chained, gagged, and clearly tortured, sits across from him. He walks towards her, his voice dripping with condescension. Good grief, what a naughty girl. Have you forgotten your table manners? I see, he says, as if he's about to teach a child a lesson. And then he brutally rips the gag from her mouth. He brandishes a pair of pliers, his face twisting into a sadistic grin. I wonder, which tooth should I pull next to teach you a lesson? Yeah, this guy is completely unhinged. He shoves the cold metal into her mouth, enjoying her terror as a sickening crunch echoes through the room. Just as he's finished his vile act, a butler appears. Lord A.I.M.A. has contacted us regarding the shipment from Ryuja. Hashimoto casually wipes the blood from his hands, his smile never faltering. He looks utterly deranged, getting a thrill from the call and the torture simultaneously. Back in the interrogation room, the large man hands over his cross necklace to the protagonist. Here. Our hero takes it, immediately recognizing what's hidden inside. It's concentrated spirit liquid, isn't it? The pure, undiluted source of the man's power. A seriously rare consumable. He pockets the unexpected loot drop. Thank you. This helps. With the deal done, the former enemy offers a stark warning. Just know that from here on out, Hashimoto will be hunting you. And anyone that man targets never meets a good end. But our protagonist just cracks his knuckles, a predatory smile spreading across his face. I'll be sure to pay him a visit. It sounds less like a threat and more like a promise. A new boss fight has just been added to the quest log.
This is not a place where you can just barge in as you please. The woman calmly places her phone on the desk, the sound echoing in the silent room. Then she crosses her legs and sits down in the visitor's chair as if she owns the place. With a flick of his wrist, Unaga gestures for his men to throw them out. "Take them away," he orders. His subordinates start to move in, surrounding the group. His eyes glint with a sinister mix of arrogance and malice. "I'm warning you." The younger officer is stunned, unable to comprehend what's happening. Warning? The woman doesn't even flinch, looking on as the officers approach. Unaga lets out a hearty laugh, thoroughly enjoying the power trip. In this city, the law is nothing against money. The woman's expression remains unchanged, but there's a new dangerous edge to her smile. Unaga's gaze darkens. And everyone bends to my will. He leans back, exhaling a cloud of smoke. So, Yayamori's case, money fixed that too, didn't it? The woman's eyes narrow into a razor-sharp glare. The temperature in the room just dropped 20 degrees. Unaga continues his villain monologue. "There are many ways to frame someone who dares to go against me, and you're no exception. For instance, we could say that the suspect Hiroto Kaya resisted arrest after you attacked him. The mention of our hero's name instantly grabs everyone's attention. They all look shocked, realizing they just walked into a trap. But the woman just smirks. Superintendent Unaga, you're a councilman, right? Then she hits a button on her phone. A voice comes through the speaker, crisp and authoritative. "Loud and clear, young miss." And in an instant, Unaga's own men turn and restrain him. He looks back and forth between his men and the woman, his face a mask of confusion and rage. She lounges in her chair, the absolute picture of victory. Unaga is frozen, his brain blue-screening as he tries to process how he got so completely outplayed. "Young miss, counselor, just who are you?" She leans back, an aura of absolute dominance rolling off her. This guy didn't just fail to stat check, he got his admin privileges revoked live on stream. The superintendent's face drains of all color, his eyes wide with pure, unadulterated terror. He finally understands he picked a fight with a raid boss he had no chance of clearing. The scene shifts to the cold, sterile hallway of a jail. Inside one of the cells sits our protagonist, Hiroto, holding a silver cross necklace. He looks up, his gaze intense, as he senses someone approaching. The sound of high heels echoes down the corridor. The cell door slides open. Hiroto's eyes lock onto the visitor. It's the woman, flanked by Saki, her sunglasses now in hand. "Hiroto," she says with a confident smile, "long time no see."
We open on a clear day at Numi University. A sleek yellow sports car pulls up to the main building, instantly drawing attention. A high-heeled boot steps out, and you just know whoever owns this ride means business. Stepping out of the car is a woman radiating pure final boss energy. Sunglasses on, not a hair out of place. The very definition of class and danger. She lowers her sunglasses, a smirk playing on her lips. "And to think," she says, looking over some papers, "I was almost considering not coming." With a clear objective, she strides towards the university entrance. "I'll go ask Uncle Jin in the president's office about Hiroto's class." Meanwhile, inside that very office, Numi University's president, Mochiyama Jin, is in a full-blown panic. He slams his desk, shouting, "I'll just get dragged down with him." His daughter, Mochiyama Saki, is equally furious, held back by another faculty member. Mochiyama, she seethes, knowing Yaimori, he'll be back eventually. Just then, the office door clicks open. They all turn to see who it is. And it's her, the woman from the sports car. Her presence immediately silences the room. Elsewhere, at a police precinct, tensions are just as high. A young officer slams his hand on his superior's desk, absolutely livid. He leans in, shouting, "We've been chasing the scars for years, and you're just letting them walk?" He points an accusing finger, his voice trembling with rage. But the man behind the desk, a superintendent, remains completely unfazed, casually twirling his pen with a look of utter boredom. The junior officer isn't backing down. "I know what you're plotting behind the scenes," he accuses. The two are locked in a silent, furious standoff. The air is thick enough to cut with a knife. Suddenly, the door to the superintendent's office bursts open without warning, and in walks Saki and the mysterious woman, interrupting the confrontation. Saki points forward, panicked. "Superintendent Onaga, I'm sorry." The superintendent, Onaga, looks up, clearly annoyed by the intrusion. "Are you deaf? I told you not to let anyone in." Without a care in the world, he pulls out a cigarette and lights it up. The young officer can't believe the disrespect. "Superintendent," he yells, trying to get his attention. But Onaga just takes a long drag, his eyes cold and dismissive. Saki is practically vibrating with anger, while the woman beside her remains perfectly composed, her gaze fixed on the superintendent. Onaga finally addresses them, pointing a finger dismissively. In a fit of rage, a man in a vibrant purple suit screams, "Useless, every last one of you," as he smashes a vase with a golf club. He slumps into a chair, the picture of frustrated authority. His bodyguard, a stoic man in a black suit, asks, "Shall I make my move?" The man stands, his eyes glowing with an ominous purple energy. "No," he says with a sneer, "I will personally go to prove my loyalty to the family." Meanwhile, in a quiet apartment, our protagonist is surrounded by a collection of strange items, a cross, herbs, and a mysterious bronze censer. Suddenly, the censer begins to glow with a brilliant golden light, and from its core, a single shimmering orb of energy emerges. He reaches out and touches the orb, absorbing its power. The golden energy swirls around his body, a visible aura of newfound strength. The energy coalesces and shoots upwards, a beacon of light in the room, before finally settling within him. He walks out of the room, feeling the change. Even his small dog looks up in surprise at the sudden shift in atmosphere. Our MC just got a serious buff. Clenching his fist, a confident smirk plays on his lips. He feels powerful, renewed. But a moment later, reality sets in. He looks at a card in his hand, thinking, "Assuming the entry fee is 2 million yen, my current funds are laughable." Looks like he's still broke. His eyes drift to the TV, where commercials for cosmetics and lifestyle products are playing. An idea begins to form as he picks up a small, unassuming blue box. His mind flashes back to a dinner with an elegant, powerful woman. He remembers being impressed, thinking, "Hard to believe she's the president of a multi-billion yen company. No wonder she has a direct line to the superintendent." She had called him out for a reason. "Hiroto, I have a favor to ask. That's why I called you here." Leaning forward, she asked, "Are you familiar with the Sugao building?" He knew it instantly. "You mean Niumi City's largest cosmetics giant." Her smile was the confirmation he needed. She was dropping a new quest marker on his map. And now he's arrived at a lavish party, likely at that very building. Dressed in a simple hoodie, he looks completely out of place amongst the high society guests. Our MC just got a serious buff. Clenching his fist, a confident smirk plays on his lips. He feels powerful, renewed. But a moment later, reality sets in. He looks at a card in his hand, thinking, "Assuming the entry fee is 2 million yen, my current funds are laughable." Looks like he's still broke. His eyes drift to the TV, where commercials for cosmetics and lifestyle products are playing. An idea begins to form as he picks up a small, unassuming blue box. His mind flashes back to a dinner with an elegant, powerful woman. He remembers being impressed, thinking, "Hard to believe she's the president of a multi-billion yen company. No wonder she has a direct line to the superintendent." She had called him out for a reason. "Hiroto, I have a favor to ask. That's why I called you here." Leaning forward, she asked, "Are you familiar with the Sugao building?" He knew it instantly. "You mean Niumi City's largest cosmetics giant?" Her smile was the confirmation he needed. She was dropping a new quest marker on his map. And now he's arrived at a lavish party, likely at that very building. Dressed in a simple hoodie, he looks completely out of place amongst the high society guests.
He holds the small blue box, opening it to reveal a lustrous, glowing pearl nestled inside. This is his ticket in. He figures this little gem could easily net him the 2 million yen he needs. Across the room, a tense family drama is unfolding. A woman in a wheelchair is surrounded by her relatives, including her condescending brother-in-law, Hoshisu Shiro, and her timid older sister, Masami. With a cigar in hand, Shiro sneers at Masami. "Your presence is nothing but a curse on this family." Masami is speechless, unable to defend herself. Shiro presses on. "See, you have no retort." But another woman, Shizuru, steps in to defend her. "Shiro, that's enough. It was Aunt Masami who raised you all after Grandma passed." Shiro's eyes flash with a cold light, completely unmoved. Just then, the woman in the wheelchair begins to cough violently. Her daughter rushes to her side. "Mom, are you okay?" Shiro simply smirks, enjoying the scene. He raises his voice, his face contorted in anger, yelling at the sick woman. "Don't be selfish." Suddenly, a figure steps between them. It's Hiroto, casually dressed and holding the blue box. The entire room falls silent. His eyes glow with a chilling red light, locking onto Shiro. A silent stat check is happening, and Shiro is clearly losing. Shiro, completely flustered, starts screaming, "Security! Where is security?" But before anyone can move, Shizuru announces, "He is Yamori Hiroto. I invited him as the savior who cured my mother." The mother herself looks up, offering her gratitude. "Thank you so much for selling that talisman to Shizuru." Hiro just smiles faintly, saying a formal thank you is unnecessary. Shiro is left speechless, wiping sweat from his brow. Hiro then makes his move, addressing the room. "Apologies for the late introduction. I am a researcher specializing in time and value. I am also a business partner of President Suga." One of the guests scoffs. "What nonsense is this? What business do you have in a place like this?" Hiro completely ignores the NPC chatter. He walks directly to the woman who was being bullied, Hoshisu Masami. She looks at him, bewildered. "What, me?" He offers her the blue box with a gentle smile. He opens it, revealing the magnificent, glowing pearl. As the light from the pearl washes over her, her eyes widen in utter disbelief and awe. "That's clearly just a lump of sugar. How dare you try to sell such a shoddy item at a Hashisu clan party?" He gestures towards a simple box, held out for a woman who looks on with a worried expression. He declares it a common beauty retention pill, something you could buy anywhere. But Shizuru, with unwavering confidence, simply smiles. "I trust Hiroto, so I'm drinking it." Her mother, seated in a wheelchair, chimes in. "Then I'll join you. He is nice savior, after all." The peanut gallery of NPCs starts chiming in from the sidelines. "Elixirs of youth don't exist in the real world," they scoff. Leaning in close to the maid, our MC whispers, his voice dripping with playful menace. "Are you sure you want to listen to them?" The maid, startled, just stammers, "What?" All around her, the cruel whispers continue, a montage of insults she's endured for years. "You old fossil. Look at that wrinkled mug. You've really let yourself go." It's a full-on psychological attack. Her face darkens, her eyes filled with a sudden sharp resolve. Clenching her fists, she mutters, "You're right, I'm tired of it." Without another moment of hesitation, she pops the glowing pill into her mouth, a look of grim determination on her face as she swallows. The mother follows suit immediately. The accuser and the onlookers are stunned. "They actually swallowed it," one of them whispers in disbelief. A few seconds pass. The maid stands there, hands outstretched, but nothing. Nothing's happening. Was it a scam after all? She wonders, her hope starting to fade. The accuser smirks, pointing triumphantly. "See, what did I tell you? It was all a scam. Get him!" But just as he speaks, a brilliant golden light begins to radiate from the maid. Her eyes glow with a strange power. And then it happens. A massive wave of light erupts from her body. It's not just a buff, it's a complete system overhaul. She's getting a full character reskin right in the middle of the party. The light fades, revealing a woman who looks decades younger. Her hair is long and lustrous, the wrinkles are gone, and she radiates an aura of newfound vitality. The crowd is absolutely shell-shocked. Someone brings a mirror, and she gasps at her reflection. "My God, she looks just like she did in her prime," an onlooker exclaims. The accuser and his cronies can't believe their eyes, their jaws hitting the floor. What? Instantly, the entire mood of the party shifts. A woman grabs onto our MC's arm, her eyes gleaming with greed. "Name your price. I want one." He coolly replies, "It's hookapop, but I only have 10 on hand." That's all it takes. The room explodes into a bidding war. "I'll give you gook. I'll pay $1 million." Suddenly, our MC is the most popular guy in the room, with everyone trying to shove money and cards into his hands. The accuser watches in frustration. These people going crazy over a single beauty retention pill? He realizes his mistake. The real value is in the formula. If we lock down distribution, we'll rule the industry again. His wife reminds him, "But the company is sinking." He cuts her off, his face twisting into a manic grin. "That's why we have to do this. We'll make him an offer he can't refuse." A portly man steps forward, trying to start an official bid. "I'll offer 15 million for the rights." But before he can even finish, the accuser shoves him aside, shouting, "I, on behalf of the Kiryu Group, bid 20 million." Stepping in to control the chaos, another man declares, "Mr. Yayamori is Shizuru's guest. This isn't an auction house." The accuser quickly changes his tune, putting on a friendly, professional smile. Of course, forgive my outburst." He approaches our hero with a disarming smile. "Let's talk business, young man. I'll offer you 30 million for the formula. What do you say? Take 30? His slimy sales pitch continues. "And in return, we provide the Hoshisu clan's connections. It's a win-win." But Shizuru cuts in, her voice cold as ice. "The Hoshisu clan? You have no right to use that name." Her uncle sputters, "Shizuru, watch your mouth. We're family." She just stares him down, arms crossed, completely unfazed by his outburst. "You ungrateful child! After everything I've done for you and your mother." She calmly holds up her phone. "Everything you've done? Like the secret loans, the back-channel deals, the bank's demand letters? Want me to list them?" Behind her, the now youthful maid and her mother look on, their expressions hardening as the truth comes to light. The man's face goes pale, sweat beading on his forehead. You dug into the books?" Shizuru doesn't even flinch. "I've been investigating you for a long time, uncle. You have no assets left. Every penny you've made has been by exploiting the Hoshisu name and scamming your investors. And now," her eyes narrow, "you were trying to scam him?" With a powerful shove, she sends her uncle sprawling to the floor. He looks up, utterly defeated and terrified. "Shizuru, please." He scrambles over to his sister in the wheelchair. "Big sis, please help me." "It's your little brother asking." He clings to her leg, crying pathetically. "You've always covered for me." But the maid, who has been silent until now, closes her eyes. "What you've done is unforgivable." And with a swift, powerful spinning kick, she sends him flying. Talk about a stat check. She one-shots him right across the room. He lands in a heap, a fresh bruise on his face, looking up at her in utter shock. You hit me?" Shizuru looks down on him, her expression one of pure disgust. "You're on your own. Get out of my sight and drown in debt for the rest of your life." He's left trembling, his world collapsing around him as he realizes he's just been permanently banned from the family guild. The rival businessmen who were mocking him earlier just smirk. Serves you right." Turning back to our MC, Shizuru's demeanor softens. "I apologize for my family's behavior, but as you can see, there are real professionals at this party. If you're looking for partners, I can make introductions if you like." He gives her a non-committal glance. "I'll think about it." She nods, understanding. "This was business. I trust you to handle it. Now, let's get you home." She leads him outside to a sleek yellow sports car. "We're here." "Nice car," he remarks. She just smiles. It's just a rental. As she gets in, she turns to him one last time. "Will we see each other again?" He seems taken aback. "Friends?" he asks, as if the concept is foreign to him. She extends her hand with a radiant smile. "That's what people who help each other are called, right?" He just stands there for a moment, hands in his pockets, before turning away. Walking home under the pale moonlight, he thinks to himself, this life isn't so bad. He arrives at his front door, a quiet end to a chaotic night.
He reaches for the handle, opening the door to his apartment. But the moment the door creaks open, a sliver of light reveals something horrifying on the floor, a pool of crimson, and lying in the middle of it, his small white-furred companion, unmoving. His eyes widen, the pupils shrinking to pinpricks as a terrifying, murderous aura explodes from his body. His face contorts into a mask of pure rage. What the hell is going on?
From the shadows, a lookout reports in. Lord Kause, Yaimori's back, he whispers into the phone. He's got a woman with him, looks like his girlfriend. Yaimori gives a friendly wave, parting ways for the night, completely unaware he's being watched. But as he gets home, something is terribly wrong. A dark shadow looms over a horrifying sight. His dog, lying motionless in a pool of its own blood. His heart plummets. He rushes forward, his eyes locked on the blade cruelly plunged into his small companion. Kneeling down, he reaches for the dagger, his mind racing. It's still breathing, he mutters, a faint glimmer of hope. He channels his energy, a green aura glowing from his hand. A healing talisman might save it. The relief is short-lived, replaced by a cold, calculating fury. He knows this was a message, and the sender is right here. Now! A voice roars as an attacker lunges from the shadows, knife held high for a killing blow. But the MC's reaction speed is on a different level. In a flash, he pivots, catching the man's wrist and stopping the blade inches from his face. The attacker's eyes widen in disbelief. The stat check was a complete failure. With his other arm, he scoops up his now-healed puppy and delivers a brutal kick, sending the ambusher flying across the room. His buddy, crashing into the wall, reveals the rest of the welcoming party. What happened? They stammer, clearly not expecting this outcome. Yaimori gently places his dog on the floor, the little guy now safe and sound. He turns his attention back to the first goon, who seems to be coughing up some weird black gunk. "Don't you have backup?" he asks, his voice dripping with sarcasm. He's done playing nice. A menacing purple aura begins to crackle around him. The debuffs are off, the buffs are on. The leader of the pack barks his orders. Get him! Beat him half to death, but keep him alive. A thug rushes in, swinging a blade with wild abandon. But our guy just casually catches the blade between his fingers. With a pulse of his purple energy, the steel shatters, and he slams the would-be attacker face first into the concrete. One shot. The remaining goons are frozen in shock. This guy, one of them whimpers. They've run into a smurf. He stands over the fallen man, his aura flaring intensely, a shadow creeping over his face, leaving only a single glowing eye. Another one, maybe braver or just dumber, charges in swinging a pipe. You little shit, don't get cocky. Yaimori effortlessly sidesteps the clumsy attack and delivers a precise chop to the man's arm. Before the guy can even register the pain, our hero grabs him by the throat and finishes him with a clean knee to the head. Number 2, he says calmly.
The remaining thugs finally realize they're outmatched in melee. Change of plans, the big guy yells, shoot his legs! They all pull out guns, but they're too slow. The MC moves like he's using a speed hack, weaving through the bullets as if they were standing still. He closes the distance in an instant, his eyes glowing a menacing red. And he makes a promise. He's going to start breaking bones one by one. Until you start talking. Meanwhile, in a sterile, white room somewhere else, the man from the phone call, the flamboyant Lord Kause, looms over Yaimori's friend. She's chained to a medical bed, terrified as he traces her face with a scalpel. This was their real plan all along, use her as leverage. His phone buzzes and he answers it with a smug grin. Is it done? You didn't kill him, right? But the voice on the other end isn't his subordinate. His face twists from smugness to pure shock. Yaimori! On the other end of the line, Yaimori stands amidst the wreckage of Kause's failed ambush. Kause, recovering quickly, switches to his trump card. He grabs the counselor's daughter, holding the phone to her ear. Guess who I've got, he sneers. The MC's expression darkens. The rage is palpable even through the phone. I'm coming over, he says, his voice dangerously low. Let her go. Kause just laughs, a crazed, high-pitched sound. You damn brat, you're hilarious. He thinks he's won. Try and find us, he taunts, then hangs up the phone. Yaimori lowers the phone, his face a mask of cold fury. The phone cracks and splinters in his grip. Hashimoto, he vows, I'm coming for you. Back in the White Room, Kause turns back to his captive with a lecherous grin. Now then, maybe I'll film a teaser first.
But just as he's about to make his move, the door to the room is flung open. "What now? We're busy," he snaps, annoyed at the interruption. Two of his men in suits rush in, looking panicked. "Lord Kausei, the warehouse sprinklers just went off." Before Kausei can even process what that means, one of his guards is sent flying through the door like a rag doll. The room is suddenly quiet, and on the operating table, the counselor's daughter looks towards the door with a single, desperate tear of hope.
A lone rider grumbles to himself, cutting through the quiet of the night. Man, dragging myself out here in the dead of night just to deliver a letter for Ryuja. He pulls up to his destination, annoyance etched on his face. And he won't even pick up. This isn't just any delivery guy. He's got the look of a seasoned brawler, sent on a simple errand that's clearly beneath him. He sizes up the lavish villa, the target location for his delivery. But just as he's about to make his move, his head snaps to the side. His sharp senses picked something up. Peeking around the corner, he spots a group of shady figures. It's a full-blown kidnapping. A group of men in black suits are forcing a woman into the back of an SUV. The biker quickly puts the pieces together, sending hitmen to Yaemori's and snatching a woman too. This just went from a simple delivery quest to a high-stakes event. The car peels out, speeding away with their captive. Without a second thought, he guns the engine, launching his bike into a hot pursuit. He's closing the distance fast, weaving through the streets like he's using a speed hack. The SUV pulls into an even larger, more fortified mansion, the kind of place you'd expect a final boss to live. Hiding in the shadows, he makes a call. I followed his goons to a mansion. He's giving a sit-rep, his tone grim. On the other end of the line is our protagonist, who has clearly just finished his own fight, standing over a downed enemy and holding a strange glowing card. The biker, Kosei, continues, "Sorry, but I need a favor." Hearing the news, the MC's entire demeanor changes. His eyes flare up with a dangerous red light. This just got personal. Meanwhile, inside the mansion's opulent hall, the head goons are reporting to their boss. And the boss, a flamboyant man in a purple suit, is furious. "I told you to cut the alarm. What if the cops show up?" Having already snuck inside, Kosei overhears the commotion. Seizing the opportunity, he steps up. "I'll go check. You guys guard this spot." The two remaining guards start complaining amongst themselves.
Making a buck is hard enough these days, and we can't even touch the girl inside? What a drag. But their chatter is cut short as one of them spots Kausei making a direct approach. "Hey, who the hell are you?" Kausei doesn't bother with a reply. A powerful purple aura erupts around him as he walks forward, his intent clear. His eyes glow with crimson intensity. These low-level NPCs are about to get cleared. Bam! The first guard is sent flying with a single devastating blow, a complete one-shot before he could even react. With the trash taken care of, Kausei enters the room where the woman is being held. He finds her chained to a medical gurney. "Hiroto," he says softly. He easily snaps her restraints and lifts her into his arms. Now for the exfil. He sprints down the hall, carrying her over his shoulder. Need to vanish before they figure it out. He reaches the exit, thinking he's in the clear. But a gunshot echoes through the hall, and a searing pain rips through his side. He's been hit. He collapses, twisting his body to shield Hiroto from the impact. The man in the purple suit stands there, a smoking gun in hand and a psychotic grin plastered on his face. "Nice shot, boss," his lackey cheers. Kausei grits his teeth, sweat beading on his forehead as he fights through the pain. The boss savors his victory, clearly enjoying the sight. Struggling to his feet, Kausei glares at his opponent. The boss greets him with a mocking tone. "Ha ha ha, Lord Kausei, long time no see." He throws his head back and laughs maniacally. "You all came here just to let me punish you, didn't you?" His face twists into a mask of pure sadism. But Kausei isn't out yet. Despite the bullet wound, his aura flares back to life. He's ready for round two. Just then, outside the mansion, the cavalry arrives. The protagonist steps onto the property, his breath fogging in the cold night air. The gate guards, completely oblivious, spot the intruder. "Who's there?" He doesn't answer. A terrifying, blood-red aura explodes from his body, radiating pure, unadulterated rage. One of the guards makes a fatal error, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Hey, are you listening?" His words are cut short by a lightning-fast fist to the jaw. The force of the blow sends the man flying backward, knocking him out cold instantly. The remaining guards are stunned for a second before drawing their weapons. They try to swarm him all at once,
But it's a pointless effort. The protagonist becomes a whirlwind of destruction, a crimson blur that tears through their ranks effortlessly. In a matter of seconds, the entire security team is neutralized, littering the ground around him. He looks up towards the mansion, his eyes glowing like embers and crackling with red lightning. The warm-up is over.
The bodyguard chokes on his own blood, knees buckling. The numbers were just too much. He's surrounded by fallen comrades, the VIP unconscious just a few feet away. He failed to protect her. But the man responsible, a smug-looking pretty boy in a purple suit, just laughs, brandishing his pistol. He lets out a maniacal scream, savoring his victory. But his celebration is cut short. Just as his men open fire to finish the job, the bodyguard is shielded from the bullets. The villain's face drops. What just happened? From the entrance, a figure emerges from a cloud of smoke, crackling with a menacing purple energy. The air itself feels heavy. His eyes glow with crimson light. The real boss of this raid has just entered the server. The injured bodyguard looks up, a grim smile on his face. Took you long enough. Without a word, our hero tosses him an item. Healing talisman. Use it. It's a high-tier potion drop, just in the nick of time. The bodyguard catches it, relief washing over him as its green light begins to patch him up. The villain, seeing his plan go up in smoke, loses his cool completely and screams, "Kill him!" His goons unload, spraying the entire hallway with bullets. But it's useless. The MC moves like he's using a speed hack, his silhouette blurring as he blitzes straight through the bullet storm. He closes the gap instantly, delivering a devastating kick that one-shots the first goon. The villain can only watch in stunned silence. This guy's power level is completely off the charts. It's a total stat check, and they're all failing. He weaves through the remaining NPCs, turning them into ragdolls with brutal efficiency. Guns are useless against a player this overgeared. In seconds, it's over. The villain stands alone amidst his fallen men, realizing he just picked a fight with a Smurf account. He makes the only logical choice: run. He turns tail and bolts for a reinforced door at the end of the hall. He scrambles to the door, pounding on it. "Hey, open the door, hurry!" But his panic makes him fumble the code. Password incorrect. He looks back in pure terror, seeing the shadow of the MC approaching. Just then, one of his own men flies past his head and slams into the wall.
Trapped, the villain tries to pull rank, sweating profusely. "I'm under Lord Aiama's protection." Our protagonist, now holding a knife, steps over a body. Lord Aiama, never heard of him. His voice drops, laced with ice. "Keep playing dumb, and I'll make you wish you were dead." The villain shrinks back, but the MC's glowing eyes narrow. He sees it now. A cultivator too? The villain's face lights up with a twisted kind of hope. "So you're one of us," he says, changing his tune completely. "Let me go, and I'll put in a good word for you with Lord Aiama. You get it, right?" The MC's answer is a fist smashing directly into his face, followed by a vicious stomp that sends him flying. He crashes through the very door he was trying to open, landing in a dank, watery room. A woman screams. Inside, several women are chained to the walls, bruised and terrified. The true, sickening nature of this place is revealed. The MC's expression turns from cold anger to pure, unadulterated rage. His eyes burn like embers as he takes in the scene. The demon inside him is fully awake. With a single fluid slash of his knife, he unleashes a wave of energy that shatters every chain in the room simultaneously. He drops the blade, his part in this rescue complete. The villain, groaning on the floor, makes one last pathetic offer of money. But one of the freed captives picks up the fallen knife. "We don't want your dirty money." Her eyes, filled with tears and hate, lock onto her tormentor. "Sending you to hell is the only payment we need." Back in the gilded hall, the MC channels his energy, healing the woman who'd been left for dead. His partner warns him, "You need to split. I called the cops. They're on their way." But the protagonist is calm. "I'll head back after I hand her over to the police." The bodyguard nods, his expression hardening. "I'm looking into Aiama, and then..." Our hero finishes the sentence, his eyes glowing with a chilling resolve. "I'm going to crush them into dust." After a grueling training session, our hero lies on the floor, completely drained, catching his breath while his Shiba Inu sleeps peacefully, unaware of the grind.
But even exhausted, his eyes burn with an unwavering focus. The grind never truly stops. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Wiping the sweat from his brow, he gets up to answer it. Standing at his door is a man in a sharp suit and shades, looking like a high-level NPC with a quest item. And speak of the devil, the man presents a finely wrapped gift and a black envelope sealed with gold. Please accept this. The protagonist takes the delivery, a puzzled look on his face. He closes the door, mission accomplished for the delivery guy. With the strange package in hand, he immediately gets on the phone to find out what's going on. On the other end of the line is a woman who radiates pure final boss energy, lounging in her office chair. She explains that the envelope is an invitation to a party hosted by the powerful Hoshisu clan. She adds with a smirk, "You'll be going as my date, of course." Our guy looks less than thrilled about being dragged to a high society event, but then she drops the real info bomb, the name of a certain key attendee, the young miss of the Amatani clan, Amatani Setsu. The name conjures an image of a graceful, blue-haired woman, clearly someone important from his past. The scene shifts to a massive, opulent ballroom, glittering with chandeliers and filled with the elite. Old money and new power mingle, completely unaware of the storm that's about to walk through the door. And there he is. Cleaned up and decked out in a tailored suit, our MC looks like a different person, though his stoic expression remains. His date appears beside him, looking absolutely stunning in a purple evening gown. She leans in, teasing him. "Don't you know how to smile? You'll scare all the pretty girls away with a face like that." He just ignores her, his eyes scanning the crowd. Just then, the grand doors swing open, and a hush falls over the hall. "It's the Hoshisu matriarch," someone whispers. Walking beside the matriarch is a young woman with piercing eyes and flowing blue hair, an aura of cool power surrounding her. Our protagonist's gaze instantly locks onto her. The matriarch is introduced as Hoshisu Nana, head of the Hoshisu clan.
A true top-tier player. The MC's eyes flare with a crimson light. There's history here, a lot of it. As if sensing his intense gaze, the blue-haired girl's own power flares to life. A passive stat check just occurred. As the matriarch greets other guests, our hero and his companion make their move. With a charming smile, his date approaches. "Aunt Nana, I'm here to celebrate." The two powerful women exchange pleasantries while our MC stands by silently. "This is just a little something from us," she says, presenting a small, elegant box. She opens it to reveal a single luminous pearl, pulsing with an incredible rainbow-colored light. "Whoa, that looks like an S-rank item. Easy." The matriarch's eyes go wide with surprise. She recognizes its value instantly. The surrounding gasps, their minds blown by the sheer quality of the gift. Even the stoic blue-haired girl can't hide her shock. Hoshisu Nana carefully picks up the item. "A peerless pill? But where did you acquire such a thing? We don't even have a pill institute here." His date smiles and gestures gracefully towards our hero. He personally refined it. The statement hits them like a truck. Both Nana and the girl are completely flabbergasted. They just got flexed on hard. The matriarch recovers, a warm, nostalgic smile spreading across her face. "My goodness, I held you when you were a baby. Look how much you've grown." The blue-haired girl, however, just looks annoyed, closing her eyes. She crosses her arms, giving him the ultimate cold shoulder. The childhood friend debuff is in full effect. The MC remains impassive, soaking in the attention without a word. Nana's expression grows a little more serious. "It's been so long," she says, a slight hint of melancholy in her voice. "Why did you come back now?" she asks, the question hanging heavy in the air. He meets her gaze, his own expression an unreadable mask. His glowing red eyes hold 1,000 secrets, none of which he's willing to share. His companion turns and walks away, her part in this play complete for now. A faint, confident smile finally graces our hero's lips. Phase 1 of his plan is complete. But just as one conversation ends, another player enters the field. A man in a flashy white suit strides in, oozing arrogance. The crowd begins to whisper, recognizing the newcomer's crest. That's the heir to the Aima family. Hoshisu Nana turns to greet him. "Hey Aima-kun, I'm glad you could make it after all." The protagonist watches this new arrival, a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. He wasn't part of the plan. Nana gestures back towards the MC, saying, "We were just talking about him." The white-suited man sizes up our hero with a condescending smirk.
Oh, and who is this? Before anyone can answer, he steps forward, his eyes locking with our protagonists. The air crackles with unspoken rivalry. This isn't a party anymore, it's a PvP zone. He extends a hand, not in friendship, but as a challenge. Aima Takeru, heir to the Aima family. The handshake is firm, almost a contest of strength as the two men size each other up. The silver-haired man, a smug grin plastered on his face, asks our protagonist his name. Our hero's eyes narrow. This isn't just a simple greeting, he's running a full-on stat check. He introduces himself. My name is Yaemori Hiroto, and as he speaks, a chilling blue aura erupts from his body. He activates a skill, channeling his power directly through their handshake, trying to get a read on this guy. The energy courses through him, a visible network of power, a living diagnostic tool. But the result catches him completely off guard. His scan comes back empty. He's getting a 0 reading. Does that mean he isn't a cultivator? He thinks to himself. The silver-haired man pulls his hand back, completely unfazed, his smile never wavering. So, you are Mr. Yaemori. It is an honor to meet you, he says, his demeanor perfectly, almost suspiciously polite. He even throws in a casual, "How have you been?" But our MC is just staring, trying to process the glitch. Something is definitely off. That's strange, he thinks. As the group turns to leave, the women with him are all smiles, completely oblivious to the silent power struggle that just took place. He realizes the real anomaly. He didn't leak any killing intent when he heard my name. This guy's either a top-tier actor or a complete NPC. The banquet continues around them, a lavish affair filled with the rich and powerful, a perfect stage for secrets and lies. Guests mingle and toast, unaware of the hidden tensions simmering just beneath the surface. A sharply dressed man, likely the host, addresses the crowd, keeping up the facade of a perfect evening. The music swells and couples take to the floor for a dance. Our protagonist stands alone for a moment, collecting his thoughts after that bizarre encounter. He's still trying to piece it together. The man's reaction, or lack thereof, makes no sense. But for what purpose? Deciding to put it aside for now, he makes his way back into the main hall, looking every bit the part of a high roller. His entrance doesn't go unnoticed. A beautiful woman in a purple gown spots him immediately, her eyes lighting up. Just then, some other guy tries to shoot his shot, asking her for a dance. But her eyes are locked on the prize. She shuts the poor guy down cold. Find someone else. She glides past him without a second thought, leaving him and his buddy completely stunned. She has a singular target in mind.
The rejected dude is speechless. His friend whispers, "Bro, that's cold. She's already got her eyes on someone else." Eh? The guy didn't even see it coming. Nearby, a woman with blue hair observes the entire exchange, an amused smirk playing on her lips. The woman in purple finally reaches our MC and calls out his name, Hiroto. She extends her hand, a clear invitation to the dance floor. He looks at her, a silent moment passing between them. The peanut gallery is in disbelief. No way! Seriously? She turned me down for him? Meanwhile, outside the venue, the silver-haired man and his bodyguard are preparing to leave. His men approach him deferentially. Lord Joe. A limo pulls up, and his men hold the door open for him. Before getting in, he gives a stern order. Listen up, don't let anyone near here. His guards acknowledge the command, their faces grim. The long black limo pulls away from the curb, disappearing into the night. Once the car is gone, the guards start whispering. At it again, what the hell do those two do in private? Shh, keep your voice down. Another one adds, did you hear what happened in there? They've completely lost their minds. Inside the silent, dimly lit limo, the atmosphere is heavy. And then, out of nowhere, the bodyguard straight up slaps Lord Joe across the face. The sharp crack echoes in the confined space. Lord Joe cradles his cheek, a red mark already forming. He looks stunned, almost pathetic. The bodyguard's face transforms into a terrifying sneer. I only kept you alive because I thought you had a sliver of utility, he growls, a strange energy glowing in his hand. A cruel smile spreads across his lips as he relishes the man's fear. His eyes glow with an intense, otherworldly power. The truth is revealed. This isn't the bodyguard. This is Aima Joe, the original, the true scion of the Aima clan. And the man who was just playing the part of Lord Joe is now face to face with the real boss, looking like he's about to be permanently deleted from the server. A pristine white shoe touches the asphalt, signaling an important arrival. And out steps Yayamori, looking like a final boss in his clean white suit. His subordinates bow low, showing their respect. He gives a brief command, his voice calm but firm, and receives a quick affirmation from his men. But this whole grand entrance is a flashback. Just moments before, the situation was completely different. An underling reports on the car. While inside, Yayamori was captured, bound and gagged in the back of a vehicle. Helpless and humiliated, a bruise on his cheek and rage burning in his eyes. He's been completely outplayed. The scene shifts to the present, a lavish party in full swing, classical music filling a grand hall. And there's Yayamori, now composed and free, apologizing to a woman named Setsu. "Forgive me, Setsu, something urgent came up." She turns, but Yayamori's attention is suddenly caught by something else on the dance floor. The crowd murmurs in surprise as they watch the spectacle unfold. All eyes are on our protagonist, who's got the full attention of a stunning woman in a purple dress. The local NPCs are shook, gossiping. "I can't believe she's actually dancing with a man. Who's her partner?" She's completely captivated, a blush creeping up her cheeks. While our hero, though sweating a little, maintains his focus. Their movements are as precise and elegant as a pianist's fingers on the keys. They move across the floor with a surprising grace, a perfect pair. She's impressed, asking, "Are you a professional dancer?" He just gives a wry smile, playing it cool. She leans in close, teasing him. "For a bodyguard, you need to match the atmosphere of this party." And the MC's inner monologue kicks in. Turns out the original owner of his body had a ballroom dancing skill unlocked. Add that to his cultivation buff, giving him flawless balance, and he's basically smurfing on the dance floor. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery is active. An older woman scoffs. He can dance, but he is still a mere commoner. Her friend beside her looks on with disdain. But then Yayamori strolls over, smoothly adding, "Young Master Hoshi has a knack for dance as well." The woman probes him. "Do you truly not know Hiroto?" But Yayamori plays dumb. "Yes, this is the first time we have met." She keeps pressing, a cunning look on her face, asking who he is. Yayamori laughs it off, feeding her a line about him being the good-for-nothing son of the Hoshi family. She plays along, but her expression shows she knows there's more to this story. But our MC is leagues ahead of their little games.
He sips his wine, thinking, "This old fox, she's trying to figure out how to harness that potential for the future. He knows her game, and he's not about to become a pawn." Yayamori can barely conceal his fury, thinking, "This damn old fox." A silent declaration of war passes between them across the ballroom. The gossip mill starts churning again as other guests connect the dots. That name rings a bell. Hiroto Hoshi? Isn't he Setsu's fiancé? Setsu herself looks less than thrilled to be the topic of conversation. They whisper about how he was kicked out of the family, meaning the engagement must be off. Having had enough, Setsu decides to leave. The older woman tries to stop her, but she's firm. "I'm tired. I'll be going now." The woman can only sigh in frustration. Good grief, that girl. Our MC watches her leave, a question mark popping over his head. But she stops and turns, confronting him directly. "Hiroto Hoshi, stop your useless delusions immediately. You and I are from two different worlds. Stop wasting my time." He just stares back, completely unfazed, thinking, what is she even talking about? She scoffs at his silence, clearly expecting some kind of reaction. He takes a slow, deliberate sip of his wine, the international sign for, "I could not care less." She presses on, telling him, "So you should focus on yourself." But our MC just smirks, a dangerous glint in his eye. "Myself?" She's taken aback by his response, confused. He drops a bombshell. "Rather than worrying about me, you should worry about your own body." Her composure shatters, a blue aura exploding around her. "What did you say? How do you know that?" He lays down the facts like a seasoned pro. Forcing cultivation might give you a short-term express boost, but it permanently debuffs your body. His power radiates off him. His eyes glow with power as he delivers the final verdict. In short, you're already at your limit. At a lavish high society party, our protagonist, dressed to the nines, spots his target, a woman with long blue hair. He approaches with a glass of wine and a confident smirk, leaning in to say something only she can hear. Her calm demeanor shatters instantly. Whatever he just whispered wasn't a pickup line. He just watches her reaction, his own expression unreadable, letting his words sink in. And just like that, her composure crumbles. Her eyes widen in panic, a cold sweat breaking out.
He definitely hit a critical weakness. He leans in even closer, the faint glow in his eyes making it clear this is not a negotiation. This little power play doesn't go unnoticed, however. From across the hall, a man in a pristine white suit watches them, his own eyes glowing with a cold blue light. He is absolutely seething. Looks like our boy just aggroed a local boss. Later, the scene shifts to the estate's garden. The MC is now walking with an older woman and her daughter. They seem to be on much friendlier terms, enjoying a leisurely stroll through the manicured grounds. The older woman smiles warmly, apparently familiar with our hero's mysterious talents. She asks him a question about a pill, and her smile falters slightly. His expression grows serious as the woman begins to tell a story. She speaks of a painful past, flashing back to a dark image of a tormented soul in chains. The woman with the blue hair. She explains that in a desperate bid for power, the woman chose a forbidden path, a high-risk build that permanently nerfed her body in exchange for a temporary power boost. The daughter is shocked to hear this, while the MC listens intently, piecing together the information. After a moment of contemplation, he looks up, his confidence returning. He calmly states, "I can refine a beauty retention pill." A bold claim, considering what he just heard. Both women are completely floored. It's like he just offered them a legendary grade item out of the blue. He's not just flexing his alchemy skills though, he has a plan. He stands tall and lays out his terms. Of course, I also want in on the beauty retention pill business. The daughter is overjoyed, but the mother, the matriarch, studies him with a shrewd gaze. This is a business deal, not charity. But before they can finalize the details, they're interrupted. It's the man in the white suit from the party. He walks towards them with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. He gets straight to the point, extending a hand for a handshake, having clearly overheard their conversation. Our protagonist meets his gaze and accepts. The moment their hands clasp, the atmosphere crackles. This isn't a handshake, it's a full-on stat check. The man in white unleashes a wave of intimidating purple energy, trying to assert his dominance. With their introductions made, he turns and heads for his limousine. As he gets in, an attendant hands him a small, unassuming box. Inside, he finds a delicate, green origami butterfly. A gift or a message? He leans back in his seat, a smug grin on his face, and begins to twist a ring on his finger. Blue electrical energy surges from the artifact. He's activating some kind of special skill. His smug grin turns into a wicked sneer as dark energy begins to swirl around him. But suddenly, he's not alone. A shadowy doppelganger of our MC, eyes glowing a sinister red, has appeared in the seat across from him. The man in white is completely frozen, the color draining from his face. It seems our hero left him with more than just a firm handshake. That was a debuff, a tracking spell. He glances down at the glowing origami butterfly, realizing too late that he's walked right into a trap. Meanwhile, high above the city skyline, the real MC stands on a rooftop looking out over the metropolis under the full moon. He holds out his hand, and a glowing green butterfly, identical to the paper one, materializes from thin air. With a confident smirk, he watches his little creation. He's not just a player in this game, he's the one pulling the strings. Under the pale crescent moon, a glowing butterfly, a mystical waypoint marker, lands gently in our hero's hand. He stands on the edge of a skyscraper, confirming his target. AIMA clan property, no time to waste. Then, he says, and with a burst of energy, he takes a literal leap of faith off the building, diving straight towards the chaos below. Meanwhile, inside the clan's private gallery, a woman in a power suit is eyeing the collection. She's already thinking about flipping the clan's rarest treasures for a personal power-up at an upcoming tournament. Suddenly, her senses flare. She's not alone. Two monks have appeared out of nowhere. She powers up, her purple aura flaring to life. "Who are you? What do you want?" The larger monk grins. "We won't hold back just because you're weakened," he warns. The three of them stand off in the tranquil garden, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. The woman just smirks, completely unbothered. "So, what do you guys want?" she asks, baiting them. The monks stare back, one smiling condescendingly, the other looking like he's about to stat check her into oblivion. But she's already one step ahead. "Since you've come all this way," she says with a wicked grin, "I'll make sure to show you some proper hospitality." She touches a strange plant, which immediately erupts, releasing a massive cloud of spores. The monks recoil in shock. The larger one clutches his throat, realizing too late. Gah, poison! A classic AoE debuff. With a poison resist pill already in her mouth, she smirks. This should buy her enough time for backup. But as the smoke clears, she feels a new, oppressive presence. A chill runs down her spine.
The vibe in the room just changed completely. A monstrous form made of pure shadow erupts and engulfs her. She can't believe it. Don't tell me, shadow arts? A figure calmly walks out of the darkness. She looks up in terror, recognizing a power that shouldn't be in play yet. And from the shadows emerges the face of her clan's heir, but it's not him.
It's our MC, Yaemori Hirototo, in a perfect disguise, holding a flaming talisman with a downright demonic grin. The ultimate gank. And where are the guards during all this? Outside, two absolute NPCs are yawning, about to ditch their post for some hot pots, completely clueless about the S-rank mission unfolding just a few feet away. And in that exact hallway, we see our protagonist, his glowing butterfly guide hovering before the door. He's arrived just in time to crash the party. But how did he get this perfect disguise? The story cuts to a dingy apartment where a man with silver hair, a perfect double for the target, eats instant noodles surrounded by empty bottles. He thinks, if I had a choice, would I have picked this life? His fork bends in his hand as rage consumes him. Unforgivable. Why do I have to suffer just because I look like him? His life was nerfed from the start, all due to a random face generation. And this man's suffering was another's gain. In the back of a car, the real Ama, gagged and bound, sits across from his doppelganger, who's now dressed in a slick white suit. The look-alike smirks, adjusting his glasses. We look alike, right? He taunts, savoring the moment as the real heir cries in terror. And it all started on a night just like any other for the downtrodden look-alike. A mysterious box appears. He opens it, and a glowing origami butterfly flutters out. Huh? What is this? Before he can react, a shadow looms over him. It's our MC. With a single casual kick, he sends the man sprawling amongst the empty bottles. Yaemori stands over the terrified man, his presence overwhelming the small room. His eyes glow with red intent as he asks the one chilling question that would change this man's life forever. Where is the real one?
Lord AIM, don't worry, I'll crush some college brat in seconds. He and his crew, armed with bats and bad intentions, lie in wait, completely unaware of who they're about to ambush. Their leader flashes a greasy smile, confirming the target's location with his contact, oozing a confidence he'll soon regret. He gives his boys the signal, ready to pounce on their unsuspecting prey. But walking into their trap isn't some scared student. It's our protagonist, strolling in with a calm that's almost predatory. His crimson eyes scan the area. He knows this is a setup. He walked in here on purpose. He recalls the nature of power in this world. Items crafted in places rich with spirit chi, holding immense power on their own. Treasures that can turn the tide of any fight, depending on their quality and rarity. He calmly assesses the situation, knowing these thugs are just low-level NPCs, completely out of their depth. Finally, the thugs emerge from the shadows. Kept us waiting, one of them sneers. Our hero finds himself completely surrounded, a ring of wannabe gangsters ready to jump him. The leader, a scar across his face, looks down on him with a smug grin, thinking this will be an easy payday. Suddenly, a chilling purple aura erupts from the MC. The temperature drops, and his eyes glow with cold, killing intent. The leader's smirk instantly evaporates, replaced by a cold sweat. He just failed the stat check, big time. Panicked, he shouts the only order he can think of. Get him, attack! His goons, too dumb to realize the danger, charge forward screaming, die! The leader crosses his arms, trying to maintain his composure, putting his faith in sheer numbers. But it's not even a fight. The MC moves like a glitch in the system, a blur of purple light. One goon goes down, then another, dispatched with pinpoint precision before they can even process what's happening. He's a whirlwind of destruction, weaving through their clumsy attacks. The leader can only watch in horror as his entire squad gets dismantled in seconds. A clean right hook connects and another thug gets one shot, dropping to the pavement like a sack of bricks. Our hero doesn't waste a single movement, neutralizing the last of the fodder with brutal efficiency. The leader is frozen in fear, trembling as he realizes he picked a fight with a raid boss. With the trash taken care of, the MC looms over the fallen, hoisting one up by his collar and asking coldly, "So, who sent you?" The scene shifts to a sunny day at a luxurious villa, where a crew is cleaning up debris from what looks like a recent battle. A woman with long blue hair arrives, her expression stormy. Her bodyguard approaches her with a tablet. He shows her surveillance intel. "Miss, as you predicted, he's made contact." The image on the screen shows two mysterious figures in robes. "The gooey sacked," she mutters, "so he even has them on his side?" Her eyes narrow in frustration. It seems our protagonist's network is larger and more complicated than she anticipated. She's furious, recalling his smug face, feeling like she's being played. She gets a message with an address and a picture of a suburban home. Wasting no time, she makes her way to the location, 432 Kogu Street. She arrives at the villa, her face a mask of cold fury. She's met at the gate by one of the MC's men, his arm in a sling. He smiles respectfully and says, "The young master is inside." She doesn't even acknowledge him, marching straight into the garden. It looks like a recovery ward. All of his injured followers are tending to the garden, a surprisingly peaceful sight. And in a shocking twist, the gang leader from the alleyway ambush is now acting as a butler, respectfully handing the MC a glass of water. Looks like he got recruited. Our hero, now in casual attire, accepts the drink, completely relaxed. That peace is shattered when the blue-haired woman storms in, shouting his name, Shi Yan. He looks up from his chair, his calm afternoon officially ruined. She gets right in his face, poking him in the chest. "I finally found you. You have a lot of explaining to do." His expression darkens immediately. This is clearly not a welcome reunion. She shoves a phone in his face, displaying a photo of him standing with another woman amidst some ruins. "You installed a surveillance camera, did you?" she demands. The photo is time-stamped. It's from early this morning, showing him in the aftermath of a fight. The image even captures his sinister, triumphant grin. Shi Yan looks at the phone, his face unreadable. He's been caught. Her own aura begins to flare with turquoise energy. She's not just angry, she's ready to throw down. But before she can escalate, he calmly grabs her wrist, stopping her cold. She's stunned into silence by his sudden move. Just then, his new butler steps in, smiling. "Miss, I think you've misunderstood. The young master wasn't the one who installed the camera." Confused, she turns to the former thug, unsure what to believe. Shi Yan then presents his own phone, showing her a picture of a completely different person, a man with glasses, sitting on a bed, looking defeated. This man looks like he's been through hell, a far cry from the confident cultivators she's used to dealing with. The woman stares at the image, completely thrown off guard by this new piece of evidence. Shi Yan's eyes are sharp and serious. He's implying this man is the real culprit behind the surveillance. She covers her mouth, shocked. The situation is far more complex than a simple case of spying. She looks from the phone back to him, her mind racing to connect the dots. But her anger quickly finds a new target. "So you admit to manipulating me, using me to find him?" she accuses. Her voice rises again, filled with betrayal. Shi Yan simply crosses his arms, letting her rage wash over him with an expression of utter indifference. He lets a small, knowing smirk. He's always 3 steps ahead. He looks back, a feeling of unease washing over him. Something's off. Ponytail turns back, sensing his boss's hesitation. And that's when a plain white van pulls up to the compound. The doors slide open, and out steps our protagonist, his hands tied. He's being escorted by a masked figure in a gray hoodie. The escort shoves him forward, whispering harshly, "Keep your mouth shut and keep moving." Back at the entrance, Lord Soma clasps his hands together, a self-satisfied smirk on his face. He stands there, flanked by his 2 monk associates, looking like he's about to greet an old friend. Our hero looks up, his expression cold, his eyes locked on the man in the white suit. The stage is set. The MC and his mysterious escort on one side, Lord Soma and his lackeys on the other. Soma's smile is just dripping with arrogance. He's clearly enjoying this. But his expression quickly warps into a twisted rage. "You've got some nerve coming here alone," he seethes. He points an accusing finger. "I'm going to make you regret ever being born." The MC just looks at him, completely unfazed by the threat. Soma's mood swings again, back to a sinister grin. "It's because of you that my plans to become a true cultivator have been delayed," he screams, his voice cracking with fury. Our hero gives him a look that just screams, "Are you serious?" "That's it?" he asks. "You're trying to kill me just because of that?" That question seems to be the final trigger. Soma's purple aura explodes around him as he powers up. The energy coalesces into a massive spectral demon face behind him. "I will make sure you die a horrible death," he bellows. But our protagonist just stands his ground, not even flinching at the massive display of power. It's a total stat check, and he's not impressed. Soma reveals his master plan.
Once I consume her shadow, I will finally become a true cultivator. And you, he says, his face contorted in a crazed expression, will be my first offering. But then something unexpected happens. The MC's own hand begins to glow with that exact same purple shadowy energy. Soma is momentarily stunned, then starts to clap slowly. You really are something else, he says. I can't believe you've copied my... But before he can finish, his own energy shifts. The purple vanishes, replaced by crackling blue lightning. And at the same instant, the protagonist's aura glitches out, turning into the same blue lightning. He looks down at his hands, completely bewildered. Huh? Soma looks just as confused, veins bulging on his face as he struggles to control his own power. What's that supposed to mean? Seizing the moment, our hero effortlessly snaps the ropes binding his wrists. He turns to his hooded companion and asks, "Did you hear all that?" "Loud and clear," the companion replies, their voice now clearly female as she pulls down her cap and mask. And it's a total badass reveal. A woman with piercing, glowing blue eyes and flowing blue hair stares daggers at the enemy. The trap has been sprung.
The man in the white suit, Lord Soma, isn't messing around. He's got his own subordinate by the throat, the grip tightening with a crackle of dark energy. And just like that, he drops the poor guy like a sack of potatoes. The purple aura fades as the man collapses, completely unconscious. Soma stands there, radiating this menacing purple energy, and scoffs, "Human, a normal person's life force couldn't possibly handle the side effects of my training." A large monk approaches, asking casually, "So, are you guys done wrapping things up?" The monk then reports, "My disciple has everything set up. We can grab that woman whenever you're ready." And they're not just talking. Deep in some hidden chamber, a figure is chained to a pillar, completely mummified in bandages. This has to be their target. A sinister grin spreads across Soma's face. "Then I guess I'll head on over," he says, clearly excited by the prospect. The monk is ecstatic. "That would be an incredible honor, sir," he exclaims, bowing. Then he remembers a small detail. "Oh, by the way, last night Kosaka apparently caught someone named Hiroto. What should we do with him?" Soma just lets out a villainous laugh. "Beat him up so he can't fight back for a while," he orders, adding with a chilling smile, "and make sure he stays alive. Because," he leans in, his eyes gleaming with malice, "I'll be going there personally." Meanwhile, outside their main base, a whole squad of goons in black suits are standing guard. The ponytail guy seems to be the one in charge, yelling at his men to quit slacking. One of his subordinates isn't impressed, thinking to himself, "Tuck, look at him acting all big and bad just because he's got a little power." Ponytail just smirks, completely unaware of the disrespect from his own crew. Just then, the main boss, Lord Soma, arrives. The goons immediately snap to attention. "Lord Soma, thank you for coming." They bow respectfully, assuring him, "Don't worry, sir, we've got eyes on everything." But Soma walks right past them, ordering the ponytail guy, "Ditch our initial plan, we're going with me." Ponytail guy is completely thrown off. "What?" he stammers, but quickly recovers. Yes, sir, we'll get everyone ready to move out immediately." But as they're about to leave, Soma stops.